Hello friends! So I wanted to make a video about how to merge design styles with your partner when you're living together. And who better to join me for such a video than the person who lives with me, my husband Adrian.
Hey everybody.
Now some of you may recognize Adrian. He made a little cameo in the home tour video, and we also made a video over Christmas, sort of rating Christmas decor, and a few people watched it.
I thought it was a really fun video.
I thought so too. Adrian is undeterred. He's been willing to join me again, so...
I gotta say, the folks in the comments section were very friendly, very welcoming. So
my viewers usually are.
Anybody that's watching from that video, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, I'm very fortunate to have pretty kind viewers.
You do.
I do, yes. So here we are to give this another go, and Adrian is ready to have this conversation with me about how we have managed to merge our design styles. We also thought we'd tell a bit of a story about how we came to live together in the first place. And
it's quite the tale.
It is quite the tale. So shall we begin?
We shall.
All right, here we go. We had been dating I think it had been about 3 years at that point. And we had talked about moving in together. We were kind of dragging our heels. I was living in my condo. Adrian was living here. Him moving in with me just wasn't even an option. My place was way too small for two people.
The location would have been fantastic. But
location was great, which is really why I was so reluctant to move in with him, because I had a really short commute to work. Yeah. I was located in a really central spot. I really liked the neighborhood. So I didn't really want to move to the burbs. And so we had kind of talked about maybe we would both sell our places and buy a place together. That was kind of the plan. Yeah. And then plans changed. So it was right around Christmas, and we had all gotten notices in my complex that they were coming to do an inspection because there had been some mouse activity in the building. And I wasn't even sweating it because my place was fine. So the exterminator, a lovely man named Jason, who we got to know very, very well.
Very, very well.
Came over to inspect my place, and to my horror, discovered some mouse droppings underneath my stove. But he did say he had no idea how long they had been there. It could have been one mouse. It could have been years ago. Nothing to freak out about. He placed some bait traps in my kitchen, and I hoped that that was the end of it.
And life was supposed to go on.
Life was supposed to just continue.
That's called foreshadowing, folks.
So, everything was fine for a few weeks. Got through Christmas. New Year's Day, I arrived home after having spent the night at Adrian's place, and I was in my kitchen, and I opened the cabinet under my sink, and it was covered in mouse droppings.
It was a New Year's Eve party.
They apparently had a lot of fun in my kitchen the night before, yes. So I panicked, of course, reached out to Jason, who came over a couple of days later and determined that, seemed that the mice had now found their way into my apartment. And once they know that there is a food source there, being that bait trap under my sink, they just made themselves at home.
You originally taped up the sink.
Yeah, I did try originally to sort of plug the holes. Yeah, they were coming in, and there were holes around the pipes. They were coming in that way.
Large holes.
Yeah, but Jason was like, they've found a way in. There's really no way that you can seal it off now. They're just going to chew through whatever you do. And so I didn't really realize at the time that I had just sort of made myself a bit of a sacrificial lamb in this situation, that even though I was not the cause of this mouse infestation, that I was now very much involved, and they were now in my apartment whether I liked it or not. For the most part, they sort of I would hear them. I would hear them in the cabinet. I just sort of kept the cabinet sealed. I wasn't seeing them otherwise.
I blocked a lot of this out. You could hear them in the cabinet, like when you were just sitting on the couch?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could hear them in there. Yeah. I mean, I wore shoes at all times.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I blocked a lot of this out.
Yeah. So I sort of went on like this for a little while. I was just kind of managing, and then one night I'd gone to bed and I turned off my bedside lamp and I could hear scurrying across my hardwood floors. And I would turn the lamp back on and it would stop, and then I would turn the lamp off and the scurrying would start again.
That's terrifying.
And I was pretty petrified. And I got off easy. There was actually another woman living in the building.
Totally.
She and her boyfriend had gone to bed one night. She had an upholstered headboard, and the mice would climb up the headboard, and one fell on her boyfriend's head in the middle of the night. So
yeah, that was a wrap for me. I was not staying over.
Thankfully that never happened, but that night freaked me out enough that I was like, I can't sleep here anymore. So still being a bit stubborn, still not wanting to like fully commit to moving in here with Adrian, I started just sleeping here. And so I would like go home from work, do what I needed to do at home. I would drive up here, sleep here, get up really early in the morning so that I could head back, to home before rush hour traffic. I would get ready for work at home. And this was the new routine.
I need to pause you there just so the audience knows this was not a scenario where Tara was not welcome here. This was all Tara.
This was all me. Yeah. No, I was welcome to stay. I was just choosing not to.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it worked at the time. Until I arrived home one morning, still very early, and I opened my front door, and I had a long front hallway, and there, sitting on the floor in the middle of my hallway, was a mouse just staring at me. And I tried my best to remain calm. This was like 5:30 in the morning. I didn't want to wake up all of my neighbors. So I just shut the door and like, great, now what do I do? So I was just kind of like rattling the door, shaking it, hoping I could scare the mouse away. But every time I opened the door again, the mouse was still sitting there. So I eventually was like, okay, I have to get into this apartment. I'm just gonna have to make a run for it. So I just summoned up my courage and I looked straight ahead and I bolted down that hallway full speed. And when I got to the end of the hallway and turned back around, the mouse was gone. So great. Now the mouse is somewhere in my apartment. I have no idea where. Now I'm really freaking out. I call Adrian, who calms me down and says, just pack a bag and come back over here. And that was the point that I pretty much fully moved in with Adrian, and I never left. So it took several more months to get the whole situation under control. What we would find out was that there was actually a couple in the building. They lived on the floor above me, and they were hoarders. And that was sort of the root of the entire problem. And when you own your own apartment, it's very difficult to have any sort of legal grounds to do anything about something like this. If they had been renters, they could have been evicted. But they basically were refusing entry for the exterminators. And so it took a long time for them even to be able to gain access to their apartment. The police had to get involved. So it was a bit of a nightmare. But once they were able to access that unit, put out bait traps, and get that unit cleaned up, eventually the problem began to improve. In the meantime, we got engaged, and
was that during the
it was sort of, it was during the whole it was during that whole
this was all of this is bringing back memories of I just blocked all this out.
Little PTSD, but because remember we told Jason our exciting news during one of the inspections.
That's right. Wow.
But,
that was a big year.
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway.
But we weathered the storm, and we got through it. As I said, I think I'm pretty much over the PTSD. It took a while. Like any weird noises, I would immediately just assume it was mice. It took some time to get over that, but it's been enough years now. Because I've lived here, how many years have I lived here now? Like 7?
I can't even remember. That's why I can't believe how long ago this was now.
Yeah, because I've been here like 7 or 8 years now. So
Wow.
yeah.
Time flies.
so all of those years of living together now behind us, hopefully we have some advice,
Oh, we have advice.
some wisdom to share.
Yeah.
So
From people who've done it.
yeah. So let's start talking about some of our tips, suggestions, any advice that we have for how to merge design styles when you move in together.
These are your tips. I'm just here for the ride.
I'll get your opinion.
Good for something.
All right, here we go. Okay, tip number 1 is compromise, which is probably pretty obvious. I mean, I think anyone who's ever been in a relationship understands the importance of compromise. And when it comes to merging design styles, same idea applies. I think you really sort of have to change your way of thinking. And, this is no longer just your home. It's also your partner's home. And you both need to feel comfortable. You need to have a space that functions for both of you. And that's usually going to mean some compromise. Maybe it's a, well-worn recliner chair. Who knows what it might be, but...
That was a fantastic recliner. Many a nap was taken in that recliner.
But, and what did you replace the recliner with? You got your Eames lounge, which is like...
And I will admit, I didn't even know that existed. So, yeah.
But as soon as you did...
I was hooked.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes compromise.
Compromise works out for the best.
It works out for the best. Getting rid of the leather recliner meant you now have a beautiful mid-century modern icon in your home, or a version of it anyway. But you love it.
I do.
Yeah. For the record, I have made compromises as well.
Oh, you've made a lot of compromises. Where we get in here. Yeah.
I'm glad I got that on film.
No, it's true.
All right, should we move on to the next tip?
Let's move on.
All right. Tip number 2 is be kind.
I think like Blockbuster, be kind, rewind.
Oh, so what that makes you think of? You're aging yourself.
Kind. I'm not aging myself. Who doesn't know Blockbuster? Yeah, never mind.
So, I think everyone has their own personal preferences, their own taste, their own sense of style, and if you're not careful, you could potentially offend your partner. You don't want to be too critical of the other person when it comes to this process.
My case of figurines that you call it, when really they were statues.
Sorry. I may also at one point have insinuated that I thought that Adrian's mother had decorated his home.
This is very true.
I really didn't mean anything by it. It was just he had a lot of stuff that looked very similar in style to stuff that his mom had at her place.
What
and
if I liked what my mom had?
I guess you did. I just wrongly assumed that maybe she had a hand in it.
With my own money, went and bought all my furniture. They weren't hand-me-downs. I thought I was onto something.
Yeah, Bombay Company. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, so yeah, just try to have a little bit of, sensitivity, understanding, because, your partner might really love their stuff, and insulting it is maybe not going to be helpful to your relationship. So just something to keep in mind.
That's very true. I have nothing more to say.
All right, well, we'll move on to the third tip then.
The third
piece of wisdom. I feel like we're maybe overselling it by calling it wisdom. But
okay. The third bar.
So this is to take your time. So this is advice that you've probably actually heard from me before, because I think it's always advisable to take your time and not rush into any major decisions. But I think this is especially true when you are living with a partner. When you first move in together, it's going to take you some time to just figure out how to make that place functional and livable for both of you. I mean, if you've never lived together before, you're going to find out things about each other that maybe you weren't prepared for. And so to have to be making any major decisions, to be investing in any major purchases while you're still trying to sort all of that stuff out can be really difficult. So don't feel like you have to rush to finish everything. Live with things as they are, experiment with things, try moving things around, do what you need to do to get comfortable. And then once you sort of have a sense of what is working and what isn't, then you can take those next steps into finishing your place.
No, I would definitely agree with that. When you're moving in together, you each have your own individual style, I would think. And when you move in together, it's going to take you some time to merge the styles together, to find a style that both of you are happy with. And things change over time.
They do.
So
things change, people change. Be willing to evolve as those changes happen.
I would agree.
Are you ready to move on then to the next piece of advice?
The next piece of advice.
All right. Which is think outside the box. So what I'm sort of getting at with this is, again, when we talk about compromise, there are going to be things that, you maybe need to learn to live with that wouldn't have been your first choice, but they might be pieces that are really functional. They make sense for you to keep them, or maybe your partner is just really attached to them. And so you need to find a way to work with those items. And this is where getting a little creative and thinking outside the box can really help. And again, if you are someone that follows my content, you know how much I love mixing styles. I'm a fan of an eclectic space. I like homes that feel unique and original and reflect the personality of the people that inhabit the space. And so I think even if it's a piece that isn't necessarily your style, you can still find a way to make it work. So try going on Pinterest, look online, find maybe some inspiration images of pieces that are similar to what it is that you're trying to work with. And you might just find some really cool, unexpected ways to work with those things that are actually going to make them a great addition to your space.
I think thinking outside the box is important. What's that? That farmhouse? A lot of people
Modern farmhouse?
Yeah, that wouldn't be something that I would gravitate to, just because a lot of people do it. Mm-hmm. Pretty safe. It's very safe. Yeah. I think that's where I'm trying to go with that.
Well, I think that one thing I really appreciate about you is that you are willing to take risks. Like Adrian doesn't want our home to look like everyone else's home. He wants it to be unique and to feel like us. And so that's been really helpful because when I'm trying to design our space and come up with ideas, knowing that he's sort of willing to take those chances and try different things has I think really enabled us to create a home that does feel like us and doesn't look like everybody else's.
It's funny because once in a while, I'll go through the comments section, and when I see a comment here and there, I wouldn't have done that. It's like, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to have done that.
Right.
I think the point is, here are design elements, here are tips, here are the guardrails. You can go out of the guardrails, but you gotta know.
If you know the rules, then you can break the rules. So if you have the understanding and the knowledge of design, at least to a certain extent, the more you know, the more you're going to be able to experiment and try different things and be more adventurous with how you design your space.
It's like listening to free jazz. If you don't know anything about music theory, it's like, this is just noise. But if you know something about music theory, it's a lot more than just noise.
Good analogy, babe. Well
Good for
said.
Something. Got to bring me back more often.
I guess so.
Drop some bars.
Right. Okay, well, I have nothing else to add to that, so we're going to let you have the final comment on that tip, and we're going to move on to the next one. So the next tip is edit, edit, edit. Because yes, if you are both coming from your own homes and bringing those two homes together, you're probably going to have a lot of duplications. And this means you're going to have to edit. And at times you might have to get a bit ruthless with it. But it's something you just need to be prepared for, something you need to expect is going to happen. And if you're willing to do that, you're just going to be better off in the end. You're going to have a space that is less cluttered, that's more organized. It's just going to benefit you in the end. So don't be afraid to let go of some things.
I think an important part for editing isn't to get rid of the other person's stuff altogether. And it's like, oh no, all my stuff is going to be what stays because I'm the one with taste in this relationship.
No, for sure.
Like you didn't do that at all. And I could look at around here and look at multiple things which were mine, which I came in with that you didn't. Turf, like for example, the cabinet, the stereo cabinet. You refreshed it, but you definitely didn't turf everything here. And especially being a professional interior designer, you could have steamrolled me, but
I tried not to.
But you were very kind. You see,
it goes back to being kind and compromise. Yeah. So sometimes you're going to have to let your partner hold on to their stuff too.
Most definitely. And I think, if you are being kind about it, I think your partner is going to be more receptive to if there is something that you're suggesting that to let go of. It's not going to be a battle or you get your back up. Like, why are all my things having to leave the house?
Right. Are you ready to move on to the next piece of advice?
The next piece of advice.
Okay.
Let's go.
Last one.
Oh, we're almost done.
Which is include your partner in the process. It may be a situation where one of you is really invested in the interior design of your space and the other doesn't really care. And that's fine. I mean, you don't want to force anyone to participate in something that they don't want to. But I think you should make some effort to try to include your partner in some way. It is their home as well. And if you just go ahead and do everything without even consulting them, I think in the end, they might become a bit resentful and they're potentially then going to be living in a home that doesn't feel like their home. And you really don't want to alienate this person that you're choosing to live with.
Yeah.
So if you really want to successfully build a life together, I think you need to try to include the other person. Like even for us, I mean, yes, I'm an interior designer. I spend a lot of time and energy thinking about what I want our home to look like, planning things, coming up with ideas. And a lot of that I do on my own, but I typically will not actually carry anything out until I have run it by Adrian. Like we're in the process now of looking for new dining chairs, and I have an idea of what I want, but I have just narrowed it down. I've come up with a few different options, which I have then shown to Adrian to get his opinion. I'm not going to purchase anything that he's not also happy with. Again, it's compromise.
And chairs have not been purchased yet.
We're getting there. We're getting there. So far, he has not loved everything that I've shown him, but
I'll compromise.
Yeah, and I mean, there are chairs I really liked where he was immediately like, no, I do not like that chair. So that chair is no longer going to be in the running. There are some other chairs that maybe if he's a little bit on the fence, we can have a conversation. I might be able to, show him how it's a good choice, why I think it would work. Sometimes he'll be willing then to accept what I'm suggesting.
I trust what you're doing quite a bit.
Quite a bit,
typically.
Yeah. But you're also not afraid to express your opinion.
I am not.
No.
At the end of the day, I mean, finding a style that works for both of you, there's going to need to be communication there. That could be the bonus tip, communication. It is in the same vein of including one another, because you want to find your unique style, in my opinion. I mean, style, interior design, anything creative, it should be fun. I don't think it's to be taken seriously because it's art, in my opinion. and you want to find the style for both of you. So when you have company come over, it feels like the folks coming over could be like, that is their place. I'm not confusing it with any other person. It's not generic.
When it comes to your home, that shouldn't be the end goal. You shouldn't be decorating your home for other people. You should be decorating it for yourself. And I think we really have done that. Like when we have people over, I never assume that people are going to love what I have done, that they're going to want to do the same thing in their homes. I realize that what we have going on here is not for everyone, and that's fine because they don't live here. Ultimately, what matters is that we are happy with it, that it's working for us, and that it feels like us.
Exactly. That would be tragic, I think, for the two of us, because I mean, I think we're both creative people. So if we had something cookie cutter, I think we definitely would have lost the plot.
Yes. Just make sure that you really are doing what genuinely appeals to you and that you're not just allowing yourself to be influenced by trends or by other people.
That is very important.
Yes.
I think that's a good tip to end on.
I think so too. So with that said, hopefully this video has been helpful to you guys. Maybe we have at least entertained you, hopefully, if nothing else. But as always, I thank you so much for being here. I hope we see you again at the next one, and bye for now.
Catch you later, everybody.
Bye.